You are not going to believe the visuals coming out of Dubai right now. We are talking about the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa, being completely evacuated. It is absolutely wild to think about. Reports are confirming that the UAE air defense system has intercepted and shot down an Iranian missile right over the Dubai Marina area. If you are familiar with the city, you know this area is also called Marsa Dubai. It is a super affluent residential neighborhood, so seeing military interceptions in the sky right above people's homes is just terrifying. The situation remains very critical across the region, impacting not just the UAE, but Bahrain and Qatar as well. We just got some insight from Saul Sadka in Tel Aviv, and his perspective really puts things into focus. He suggests that Iran is lashing out at Gulf nations like the UAE and Bahrain because they fully understand this is their last stand. They feel betrayed and are essentially throwing everything they have left at the people they think turned on them. It is a desperate move. On top of that, with the US midterm elections coming up in 6 months, President Trump is showing absolutely no signs of backing down. The strategy seems to be to keep hitting targets indefinitely at minimal cost until the regime collapses. Sadka mentioned that a large number of senior members are already gone, and sadly, it looks like more will be departing in the coming days. It is a completely chaotic situation, and honestly, it looks like the region is in for some very difficult days ahead. Can you imagine a 47-year-old regime crumbling down just like that? It is a wild scenario unfolding right now. We are getting word that Iran's supreme leader is about to break his silence and address the nation any minute now, but do not expect a public rally. Given that his residence has already been targeted, he is likely hiding out in a bunker, sending a recorded message to boost national morale. It is strictly survival mode, and while that is happening, mark your calendars for Saturday morning because President Trump is set to speak to the American people too. Now, here is where it gets technical and frankly, a bit scary. Military experts are questioning if air power alone is enough. We are seeing heavy hitters like B-2, B-1, and B-52 bombers in action, but without actual boots on the ground, can you really force a regime change? History suggests it is incredibly difficult. The international community is split too. The UK is demanding Iran stop the oppression, while China is stepping in saying, hey, respect Iran's sovereignty, and stop the US and Israeli strikes immediately. It really begs the question, is this about removing a threat, or is there a bigger geopolitical game at play here? It is a lot to process. You have to realize the stakes here are incredibly high right now. We are talking about millions of lives, including millions of Indians currently living in the Gulf, and innocent people caught in the crossfire. The economic shockwaves from this conflict are going to be massive, and honestly, it is disconcerting. While you hear China and other nations issuing standard statements, the reality on the ground is driven by what the United States is doing. But you have to look at the context. For nearly 50 years, the world has changed, yet Iran has stuck to two stubborn goals. First, becoming a nuclear weapon power, despite claiming it is just for energy, and second, the destruction of Israel. It is hard to wrap your head around a country focusing its entire existence on destroying another in the modern world. The Americans have spent 5 or 6 decades trying to stop this with sanctions and strikes, but it has not worked. You also have to consider the neighborhood, with a country like Pakistan possessing nuclear weapons right next door, which is already a huge risk. But here is where the military details get really intense. About 8 odd months back, during operations like Lion Rise and Midnight Hammer, it became clear just how dug in Iran is. They have submerged their processing plants and infrastructure 300 to 350 feet underground. Think about that depth. Even the best American bunker busters could not reach them. They managed to save nearly 400 of their key systems. Experts warn that it is now just a matter of 7, 8, or maybe 10 months before they inch towards building the bomb. Most countries in the region have accepted Israel's existence, but Iran refused to change its posture when it had the chance 25 years ago. Now, the US is acting, but they are doing it in isolation. And just as we are breaking this down, we are getting a serious update. Reports are coming in of an explosion close to Dubai's Palm Island. The situation is escalating by the second. You are witnessing history unfold in a very scary way right now. We have breaking news of a major explosion near Dubai's Palm Island. It is incredibly significant, and it is not just there. We are getting visuals of smoke plumes rising dangerously close to the Burj Khalifa. Yes, the world's tallest building has been evacuated. It looks like a possible missile strike right in that affluent area. We have been watching a continuous exchange of missiles and drones for about 4 to 5, maybe even 6 hours now. And honestly, this intensity could keep playing out for another 3 to 4 days. It is a head-on collision. Just yesterday, Iran's supreme leader made it it clear they are not giving up their ballistic missile or nuclear program. He essentially said if he changes his view now, his regime collapses from within. So he is doubling down. But here is the strategic mistake. By firing missiles at Gulf countries during the holy month of Ramadan, Iran has basically shot itself in the foot. They have forced these nations to side with the US, even if those countries were hesitant before. President Trump might not have many friends in the European Union right now, but Iran's actions are creating a coalition for him. We are also seeing images coming in from Iraq where US forces are intercepting missiles midair. Unlike previous operations where we saw quick results on day one, this feels like a much longer game plan is in motion. You are not going to believe how quickly this situation in the Gulf has spiraled. Following what Israel called preemptive bombing, Iran has launched a major counter-assault, and they are specifically targeting Gulf states that host U.S. military bases. It is getting very real. According to the Fars news agency, Iran has confirmed targeting the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, the Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, and one more base in Bahrain. Reports from IEFP confirm blasts in Abu Dhabi and Doha just hours after the initial attack. Imagine being there right now. Witnesses in Abu Dhabi, including 2 Reuters correspondents, heard 5 loud booms in rapid succession. It was intense enough to make windows vibrate in a house near the Corniche. Tragically, the Emirati Defense Ministry confirmed that while they intercepted several missiles, shrapnel fell on a residential area, killing 1 person of Asian nationality. The reaction has been swift and serious. The UAE has closed its airspace, and Qatar Airways has suspended all flights because Qatari airspace is shut down too. Even Syria has partially closed its airspace. The tension is spreading everywhere. Over in Saudi Arabia, 2 IEFP correspondents in Riyadh reported hearing a loud bang, and the Jordanian military says they have already shot down 2 ballistic missiles. The whole region is on high alert. You are looking at a full-scale escalation right now. Reports are flooding about massive explosions across Iran, from Tehran to Isfahan. But here is the headline everyone is asking about. Is the Iranian president okay? State media agencies like IRNA and ISNA are confirming that President Masoud Pezeshkian is safe and sound. It is a bit surprising considering the sheer scale of the strike. We are talking about explosions heard loud and clear in the north and east of Tehran, as well as in Isfahan, Karaj, and Kermanshah. According to Channel 12, these were not random hits. They specifically targeted the homes of senior officials, military chiefs, and even a presidential facility. Now, if you recall, Pezeshkian was not so lucky last year. During the 12-day war back in June, he actually suffered injuries when a missile hit a building where the Supreme National Security Council was meeting. It just shows how precise and personal these strikes can get. This time, it is being called Operation Lion's Roar. And let me tell you, the messaging coming out of Israel is intense. They are calling this significantly more powerful than the previous Operation White Valley. The stated goal here is clear: to completely dismantle the nuclear and missile capabilities that the regime has been trying to hide deep underground. The fear is that if they do not act right now, these sites will become immune to future attack. They are accusing Iranian negotiators of just buying time while they rebuild in secret. Of course, Iran is not just sitting back. The Revolutionary Guard has already launched its first wave of drones and ballistic missiles targeting Israel. Sirens are wailing across both northern and southern Israel as we speak. It is a very dangerous tit-for-tat situation. And with the United States fully involved under President Trump's leadership, this is shaping up to be a defining moment for the entire region. You are watching a historic pivot point right now. The message being sent to the people of Iran is crystal clear and incredibly direct. It is basically a call for a revolution. We are hearing a direct appeal to everyone there: the Persians, the Kurds, the Azeris, the Balokis, and the Afghans, telling them this is their golden opportunity to establish a free Iran. The promise is that anyone who lays down their weapons will be safe. But here is the massive update you need to know. President Trump just confirmed on his Truth Social platform that the United States military has officially begun major combat operations. He is not mincing words, calling the regime a vicious group of terrible people, and he is backing this up with some heavy history. He pointed out that for 47 years, the regime has been chanting death to America. He reminded ended every one of the 1983 Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. He brought up the USS Cole attack in the year 2000. And of course, he referenced the very beginning, that violent embassy takeover where Americans were held hostage for 444 days. This is not just a strike, it is a response to decades of tension. You have to look at the sheer volume of what has been happening in places like Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed throughout the Middle East in recent years. It is relentless, and it does not stop there. They are targeting U.S. naval and commercial vessels in international shipping lanes too. It has been nothing short of mass terror, and the clear message right now is that we are simply not going to put up with it any longer.